right, welcome back. As promised, a conversation with Matthew Schaefer, who could potentially go first overall in this year's draft Friday night in Los Angeles to the New York Islanders. He was recently the recipient of the CHL Top Prospect Award, has just been a winner as he's grown up. Gold at the Canada Winter Games, gold at the U17, gold at the U18, gold at the Hlinka Gretzky, captain on 3 of those teams. He is a leader. He's dealt with incredible tragedy already at such a young stage of his life, but the way he has handled it, he is somebody that is impossible not to root for. Our conversation with Matthew Schaefer here on 32 Thoughts. So pleased to be joined by Matthew Schaefer, the Erie Otters, one of the top prospects of the 2025 NHL draft. So Matthew, first off, days away from draft day in Los Angeles. Where's your mind at? How's your energy level? It's been a busy month here in June. How are you handling all of it so far?
Yeah, exciting times. This week's going to go by pretty fast. But obviously, once I get to the draft, I'll worry about it now. But really, I'm just working out, getting my body ready. But looking forward to it. It should be some fun times. I haven't been to LA before, so looking forward to that.
I'm just curious, of all the things that you've kind of been through the last few weeks, if someone was to say to you, what was the craziest thing that happened to you, the one thing that stands out, what would you say it was?
Ooh, it's just in the last couple weeks, or from my start of the season to the end of the season.
You pick. This is your interview. You pick.
Well, obviously in life I've gone through quite a bit of stuff, and I don't think I would be the person I am today with everything I've been through. I think, going through the draft, the combine, I wouldn't be as calm with it. Mm-hmm. When I lost my mom and I lost my Bill and mom in the same year. So that was a really tough thing to go through. You never, want anyone to go through cancer as scary as, what my mom went through. Mm-hmm. But things like that have made me so much stronger in life, and I'm happy she's not suffering, where now I find myself so much more calm with things, and there's a lot worse things that can happen in life. And everyone gets super, stressed out about the draft and the combine, but it's all fun to me. Going to the combine, being with all your friends, meeting, people from different teams, going through that, kind of process. It's pretty cool to me. And I honestly don't think I'd be the same person I am today if I haven't gone through all the ups and downs.
Okay. Now, when you were at the combine, you spoke to some young people about it, and I don't want to spend too much time on this topic, Matthew, but I understand you and I have something in common. I lost my mom at a very young age too, and I don't want to talk so much about that as I want to talk about your message to people, because nobody goes through life unscathed. Nobody goes through life. It just depends on when in your life it happens to you. So when you speak to young people, or when you speak to people, what is the advice you give them about, okay, this is how you're going to take the next step. This is how you're going to try to turn this into a positive. This is how you're going to make things better for yourself. Yeah,
I think that's a big thing. The biggest thing for me is I really want to do a lot of grief awareness visits, foundations. I know you do the Smile Zone Foundation too, so saw you there this year. So that's a big thing I want to do. But the biggest thing for me, I did a grief awareness visit when I was in Buffalo. I had some time off, so I went to go visit this grief awareness place that just opened. It was 2 months, freshly open. And they let me come in and talk to all these kids and families that have gone through so much in their life. And the biggest thing that I want to get across is, yeah, it sucks to lose someone, but you got to remember that the good memories you guys had. And a thing that I always say is I only had 16 years with my mom, 15 years with my mom, but those are going to be, some of the best 16 years of my life, because all the good things that we've been through. And, I'm just going to remember my mom for who she was, and I want to carry that legacy on. She was walking in every room smiling, lighting up a room. She was going through cancer, but she was still the happiest person in the house. So there's a lot of things that my mom has taught me that I want to go on and do. And I know when I do these visits, she's looking down, smiling at me. And I think the biggest thing people do is when they grieve, they like to keep it in. I want them to know that there's other people in the same situation that they have to, talk out. And I know a lot of people grieve differently, and, maybe it's not their favorite thing to do is talk out, but I encourage them to try to, talk out as best as they can. because it definitely helps more when you can meet people that have gone through it, similar stuff. Like, Elliot, if I was talking to you, we can, see how you went through it and how I went through it, and, some of the similarities we had, and, what you did to cope with all that stuff. So, I really encourage people to talk out and, that they're not alone.
Excellent.
So, Matthew, I really just am curious hearing you talk about how you're handling all that's going on at this point in your life, the calmness you speak of. Like, it would make sense when you get to maybe Elliot's age, a little later on in life, that much more life experience.
21 years
Thanks,
old.
Kyle.
21
yeah,
years old.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Thanks a lot.
I didn't say a number. But when you have a little more experience in life, it makes sense to be able to approach it with that kind of vision. But for you at 18 to look at it that way, it really is fascinating. And I just would love to know how you got to that.
Yeah, I think me, my dad and brother, we all take it a little bit differently. My dad and brother, I love talking about my mom. I also think it helps when I can relay on the game a bit. My brother's working, he's starting a new job. It's stressful where, I'm doing something, hockey. I want to grow up. I've been playing it since I was a kid. I get to rely on it that way. But me and my family are super close, me, my dad and brother, and we have each other's backs along the way. And, whether we're watching videos and we're crying, it's more happy tears that we miss her, but we're still super strong. But for me, I love talking about my mom and the person she was. And if anyone asks about my mom, I'll sit there for hours and they'll know exactly who she was because I love talking about her. But for me, when we lost my mom, I remember going back home to take a break because I went to go see her at the hospital. And then there was the funeral and everything, so I was there. And then I remember going up to my dad and saying, would she want me to go back and play for her? Would she want me to stay? And I knew exactly my dad was going to say, go back and play, because she wouldn't want you to stay at home, be sad and grieve. She wanted me to go and play, and I know she was watching me along the way. And I know my mom's always with me no matter what. And, I look for little things like signs. And when she passed, I saw a lot of ladybugs. So, things like that, you see a lot of signs down the road. And I know she's always with me, but she's in a better headspace where she's not suffering. And, she's happy up there, but I know she's right beside me in spirit. So I think that puts me at ease a little bit more.
What's your brother's name?
Jonathan. He's 9.5 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 27. He played in the OHL for 5 years. So, so I guess that's how I kind of got into hockey, was watching him grow up.
And what's his new job? What's he doing now?
So he's working in business. He's in sales. So he's working in Mississauga. So every time you start a new job, it's a little bit stressful, but he has such a good mindset, and he's already doing a lot better than he was at the start, right? So he's going to do good, and he loves it.
Now, is Jonathan a good salesman? Is he a good salesman?
He is. I mean,
he is.
A lot of hockey players love talking. My family loves talking. So he's a good salesman. He can, get you some stuff.
All right. So Jonathan Schaefer, if people out there, if you need stuff, Jonathan Schaefer.
Johnny's the guy.
Johnny's the guy.
He'll get you on those.
Now, Kevin Bieksa asked you a little bit about Todd, your dad. And I have heard your dad is quite a character, that when the players get together on hockey trips and things like that, Todd Schaefer is usually the ringleader. Is this true? Yeah,
I'd say it's pretty true. Sometimes I'd maybe say it's not true, so hopefully people believe me, but yeah, it's true. It's pretty true. Whether we're at Team Canada events, anywhere, he also loves to take his shirt off. I think that's a go-to.
Yes, I've heard this.
Maybe his birthday or something down the road, I might need to get him a tie down so it can, cause the shirt not to come off. But I think I'll find a way to take it off anyways. But yeah, he's a character. He's, a great person. He cares, but everyone loves him because they think he's so funny, but I'm so used to it. So I see him as just the same jokes over and over, but other people, when they meet him, they're laughing at all the jokes he's making.
I've heard that. I just wonder, I've heard your dad is a great guy. I just wonder at all, Matthew, if you ever see him and there's a point I know where this is going. It's my cue to exit.
Oh, 100%. So he'd always do these jokes where if new kids came to our team, they'd do jokes on the new parents and all that stuff. And once he, you know, brings it up, I'm like, oh, here we go. And then all the kids come and watch because they want to see, you know, Toddy do some jokes or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of go-tos where I know when he opens his mouth, I'm like, I know where this is going.
Well, it's funny because Matthew, if you know this or not, so David Amber, our colleague, is often a punching bag on this podcast from time to time, and I heard there is a roundabout connection with him, your dad, and Tom Ghilardi. And a good joke that they played on David not too long ago. So
your dad was there for
no,
that
so
one?
I think what happened was my dad. So Frank Ivankovic knows them, and my dad got it from Frank Ivankovic to tell him. So my dad wasn't a part of it. He was just passing the message on.
Oh, okay.
And then Amber was kind of like, "Oh, you were a part of that?" But I was like, "No, I wasn't a part of that. I was just passing it along." But yeah,
oh, that's great.
That's
so
fantastic.
Matthew, the combine, like that's this year. I guess it was even more intense because there's no central draft. Like, what was it like for you? What were some of the things that really stood out?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The combine, it's you know, so well run. When you go there, you're seeing all your friends and guys you've played on Team Canada